The phone number, 855-400-SAVAGE. I'm going to have my call screen to throw up a call because I can't see the screen right now. Doug, throw me a call. Go ahead, please. Line 3, you're on the Savage Nation, which I can't take. Line 3, what's your name?
Is that me? That's Anna.
Anna, hi, what's on your mind?
Oh, I was just wanted to talk to you a little bit about anger, and it seems to me, maybe this is very simplistic, that the reason that people that when you get angry you're happier is because it relieves stress. And anything that relieves stress makes you healthier because you're not stressed.
Well, that's what the scientists, the doctors who studied anger say. Getting it out is very good for the body. Otherwise, you build it up. It's kind of common sense. We've all known people who are quiet and they're always seething. You can always feel it.
Right.
And you see them clenching their fists and they don't say anything.
Right.
They're built. It's like common sense. They're building up the tension, right?
Right. And whatever body parts are the weakest, they're going to affect that body part because that's their stress point.
Well, now you're relating to the other article I was reading from, which I don't want to get into.
Stress is a killer, and if you get angry and it helps you relieve your stress to be angry, then you're making yourself healthier by being. All
right, so you agree then that letting it all hang out is basically good for a person. Thank you very much. See, the woman agrees. Anger's an interesting question. I don't really express my anger as much as I should. I used to be more angry. I can't say I was happier. I'm not as angry as I used to be. Now I'm just used to the fact that the country's destroyed by the Democrats who are going to steal our wealth, steal our self-pride, and steal our national security. Which leads me really to something that sometimes agitates me. I'm a big television watcher after the show. It relaxes my mind. I'll admit it. I have no shame in it. I think television, if you select the shows properly, can be one of the greatest teaching tools in the world. So one of the shows I love to watch is history, military history in particular. Well, yesterday, hours, I was watching the World at War series, which I've seen numerous times over the years. And if you watch this series of World War II, the World at War, you learn so much from it. You learn about the rise of Germany based on anger because they were defeated in World War I. Then they created a scapegoat in the Jews, and where that led to the death camps, the whole story. And then you find out that Hitler's insane angers led to his megalomania when he became a total megalomaniac and didn't listen to his generals any longer. Then he started making military blunders, invading Russia, many blunders, one military blunder after another. His hatred of the Jews is what cost him the war, by the way. This is an interesting paradox. The hatred, had he not had this obsession against the Jews, Hitler, and he had not driven Einstein out and some of the other greatest physicists of that time, Niels Bohr, I think Enrico Fermi, who was Italian, was driven out by the fascists. They all came to America. Had they not come to America, I mean, the world would have been a different place. So it just shows you how things work out. But nevertheless, you start watching the History Channel over and over and over again, and you learn so many different things. You can learn from anything. But there's also a danger in too much media. And one of the dangers for me, personally, and I'm getting sidetracked pretty quickly here, is that when I see the carnage, guys laying on the side of the road after a battle, I don't care whether they're U.S. troops, German troops, Italian troops, Ethiopian troops, Japanese troops, Chinese troops, when you see carnage of hundreds of men laying there broken and dead horses after a bombing raid, you start to realize that those men were exactly like you. Amongst those men, there were men with fine minds, terrific personalities, wives, children, hopes, dreams, smashed with one bullet and one bomb. And you start to realize it starts to affect you in a very deep manner. And it can have a very caustic effect on your ability to get up the next day and handle it. So then I start thinking about America right now, where we're at. It makes me think about it. And I start to realize that if this country does not have a nationalist movement, I've said this before on the show, I've written about it in one of my books, it wasn't in Trickle-Down Tyranny, it was not in Trickle-Up Poverty, it was in one of the books before it. I have said that the only thing that can save America from this drift towards internationalism, worldwide socialism, the loss of our national identity, is my slogan, Borders, Language, Culture, and the new nationalist party. I would say that a new nationalist party could save this country. The only counterpoint to this insane liberalism would be a nationalist party. Now, it almost happened with the Tea Party. The Tea Party was the nationalist party it was building. It was decimated by the unions and by others. And I remember when it was attacked. It was attacked first by the Congressional Black Caucus, who screamed and yelled at the Tea Party people and lied about them. They said that the Tea Party did this and that. They didn't do any of those things. The Congressional Black Caucus hated the Tea Party. They're on record for it. Then the union thugs came out and said, we're going to take them out and take them down. Then the Democrat Party went after the Tea Party. The very essence of America is the Tea Party. And yet, they were cast as the enemies of America. And yet, these socialists have completely lied about the Tea Party. So getting back to it, so I'm thinking about these World at War series, and I'm watching it, and I realize that most liberals are afraid of nationalism. It's been brainwashed into them to fear nationalists and nationalism. They always come to the same conclusion that nationalism will lead to Hitler. It doesn't always have to lead to Hitler. Sometimes nationalism can lead to national pride and survival. And the opposite of nationalism is international socialism as practiced by Barry Obama. Barry Obama is, by every definition, any intelligent, educated person can tell you he's a socialist. He doesn't have to wear a red beret and tell you he's a socialist. His policies are socialist. He hasn't yet seized all of the heavy industries. He's not Kim Jong-il yet, but he's on the road. His policies are that of socialism, seizing power, seizing property, seizing wealth, attacking wealth, class warfare. Every technique that he and the Chicago mob are using is a mob technique used by the international socialists from day one. It's a very dangerous situation. The only counterpoint to it will be an American Nationalist Party that has a very strict firewall, not going over that line into racism. That's a very important point, which I've said since 1994 when I started in radio. And I believe in borders, language, and culture as the theme of this party. And I also said to myself last night, I couldn't sleep after watching the series, that if I had the time left on earth, I would start the Nationalist Party. It would take approximately 10 years to have an effect on the country. I don't know if there's time for it. The Tea Party was the nascent Nationalist Party. They were looking for a charismatic leader. There was no charismatic leader. There were a few people who could have been the charismatic leader of the Tea Party, but they got locked up in their own ego. They forgot that their mission was not about them. The mission was about the nation. They got lost in their ego, and then they lost their following. And that's what I was thinking about. I was saying, well, okay, but I could still do it. It could still be done. And someone will come along within time who will be the leader of the Nationalist Party. And the theme is simple: borders, language, culture. Steal the slogan. It's mine. I've been using it.